YouTube, part 3 of this video, because all the bits turned out to be too long. Comes from just watch them, I'll put them in a link. I'm pointing down there. Maybe I will put them in a link down there. I'll make a playlist with the 3 of them in it. So this is can you tell the difference between a one-piece maple neck and one with like a separate fingerboard maple neck? I'd never really thought about it. I tend to prefer the idea of it being a one-piece just because it's a nice idea. Does it make a difference? Don't know. So this is a 1983 Washburn A5. And I've got a video that I've not done yet because I've now got the A20, which is the stage series. I've also got the B28 bass, which are this shape basically. There was a 20 is through neck, ebony fingerboard. The A10 is a set neck, but much the same. The A15 has 3 Stratocaster pickups in it and a scratch plate, and the A5 is the bolt-on neck one, which means you can get it with a maple neck. And normally these have 2 single coils, but for the first year, like in 1983, they came with the 2 power sustain humbuckers, which are the same pickups that are in the 10s and the 20s, and also in this exact test, that one, exact same pickups as that. So they're basically they're Ibanez Super 70s. Is it Maxon that make them? Goto pickups, or no, they're Goto versions of the Ibanez Super 70s, which are basically just Marzio Super Distortion copies. This one has a Telecaster neck plate on it as well. It didn't come with coil splits, but I fitted them because I like the idea of having coil splits. So again, we don't know yet whether this is a one piece or a separate cap. I'm actually going to. I don't actually know. I'm imagining this is going to be a 25.5 inch scale, although the Eagle, the wing series are 25 inch, and this is sort of it's a 25.5 inch. So this is a Fender scale. I wonder if the other ones, the more expensive ones, are Fender scale as well. Because it would make sense that you would make it Fender scale for like the one with the 3 pickup, the 15 and the 5. This one meant to be like the sort of Telecaster version, and then you get the A15, which is a sort of Stratocaster. So it would make sense if they were 25.5, and then the other ones, which are a bit more. I thought they were Explorer-y, but I think it's more Firebird-y shaped. There was discussions about whether that was the worst headstock ever. I think it looks good because it matches this bit. It kind of looks like it's right for this guitar. Yeah, so I would say that even though I called the last one I was looking at, that one there, I've swapped them round in order now, how annoying. I've got a Toblerone neck. I think this one is more Toblerone, or maybe it's more Toblerone for more up the neck. It's a real deep V. It's also asymmetrical, so it's like actually the middle point is kind of nearer the top, so this side of the V is shorter than the underside of the V because it kind of fits your hand. Quite a good thing. And sweat is pouring off me today. It's roasting. It really is. Then you can buckerize it. This one likes a bit of the distortion. And that the face I just gave there, without meaning it, was if you'd asked me 5 minutes ago when I was doing this, with which guitars had a one-piece neck, which ones had a cap, I would have said, oh, this is one piece. Nope, this is a cap. I didn't. So there you go. So obviously it doesn't make it. I can't tell the difference. I thought this was a one-piece neck. There you go. So no, this is a cap. Yes, I love this guitar. It's fantastic. It's in some ways it's my favourite of the stage series, even though the other ones are all more expensive models. The maple neck it's just lovely. And the bolt, I quite like the bolt-on neck as well, and it's a really nice layout. You know, it's got what I need. It's got 2 humbuckers and they're both splittable. It's just, I don't need anything else. A 3-way switch. It's I really rate this one if you can find one. There are later ones that are slightly different. You get one with a tremolo on it as well, and you get one. It's got 2 single coils. Yep. So that's I think this is guitar number 7. Is it? Was this the first one I've done in this video? Yes. Did I start with this one? I think I did. And I've already talked for 5 minutes. Oh. Okay. Right, so that's that one. We're trying to do these in order. So it went that one, that one, that one, and then that one, and that one. No, I started with the Firebird. That's alright. Yeah. There we go. So that's that one. Next on the list that I did was this one. This is a Squier Bullet. Made in Japan, fujigen built one. One of the first ever Fender Japan guitars is this. So this actually has, it's a hardtail, and these pickups, although they look like humbuckers, they're actually the sort of thing that I do. So it's actually old, or when they first made it, they were using up old single coil pickups. When they moved to Japan, obviously they did it from scratch, but it's basically 2 strap pickups in below one cover. If you look in below it, I've put photos of this up. It literally has 2 strap pickups in below a fancy cover. You can even see it's got 4 screw holes on it because that's where it screws into where the strap pickups are. But one of them's reverse wind, reverse polarity, and they're wired together to make humbuckers, and there's wee push buttons to make them humbuckers or not humbuckers. So this is bridge pickup. And then that'll be a single coil. A good bit quiet in the last guitar, you'll notice. Neck pickup. I'm just going to put the distortion on because I like distortion. I'm really disappointed with this switch because I actually had to buy a new switch for this because the old switch didn't work. It's still a bit crunchy. So this is a full scale. This is a 25.5-inch scale. It's the body is just smaller. It's thinner that way. And it's, I suppose it's got a Telecaster headstock, so it's something in the middle between a Tele and a Strat, I suppose. These are getting quite, I think this is quite a desirable guitar, especially in this condition. This one, this is it's almost mint. Is it a 1-piece or is it a thingy? It is a 1-piece. You can see the serial number on this is SQ00016. So this is the 16th ever built Squier. And how many millions of Squiers are there out there? This is number 16. The wee asterisk goes up in the corner here saying, yes, I'm aware there was a line called the JV, but they didn't start with SQ. So they were, originally the JVs started off as Fender Squier series. This is the first proper Squier, with a wee bit of caveat in it. You can see it says, it's got a bullet in the headstock and it says made in Japan in here. I don't know about the other ones. There are much cheaper ones than this. There's also the first year of the bullet was made in America, because apparently Korea were meant to make them and they turned out to be rubbish, and then Japan made them for a year and they turned out to be too good, so they went back to Korea and made them a bit cheaper. And like, see, basically if they just made this the Telecaster shaped body, these would be worth $1,000, absolutely no bother, because then it would just be a Japanese Telecaster. It's not, because it's that sort of funny looking, maybe look on it, it looks kind of, I don't know. But it's got one of the nicest necks I've ever felt in any Fender, as good as any guitar Fender I've ever played. So Squier Bullet 1983, I think I said this was. As all these guitars kind of seem to sit into the 1983-ish category, or round about there. Sort of. I just think that's my golden era. I think it's the golden era, because I mean these aren't necessarily the guitars that I think look best or are the best value. These are the guitars that I think are the best. They're just the best built because they were all these Japanese factories were competing with each other, trying to make world class guitars, and they weren't trying to make cheap copies of anything. They were trying to make a guitar that was as good as you can make a guitar, and that's what all of these came out as, including this one. So this is an Aria Thor sound. The original Trust Rod cover may have had the model number, but as far as I can tell, this is this originally had 2 single coils. I put P90s in it. These are G&L P90s because I wanted a P90. This is my Black Sabbath guitar, really, even though it's not quite an SG. It's kind of not a million miles away shape wise while I've got it out. So this, I thought it looked the same, but it's not really. You can see when you put the two of them together, are not really the same. There's a Vantage that's very much this colour, but it's not quite the same. Could be the same factory. That not sure whether that one's a Matsumoku or not. This one is 1982. This is the probably only released in Europe, the cheapest of the range of the Thor sounds. They get an awful lot more expensive Thor sounds. This is like the really basic one, so it's like it's got that not really been painted thing. Actually, not dissimilar to the Onzo's guitar. That one. That sort of, you can feel the grain through it. Hard tail, very wide neck on this, really nice, and P90s. Again, I think this guitar is fantastic. I'm going to take this one into the studio. Belter. So is it a one-piece neck or is it a cap? It's kind of neither. This is actually a sandwich construction, so it's like 3 pieces of wood and then a separate fingerboard. So it's the cap one, but I love this guitar. I think it's fantastic. There's something about when the Japanese were making the cheaper end of the range. The same applies to the West Tone Concord. The cheaper ones are made out of less fancy wood and are a little bit less fancy to look at, but they're built. The build quality is fantastic. It's the same as the really expensive ones. So the important stuff, the frets, the wood, everything is just absolutely top notch kind of idea. I suppose that the idea of your Gibson, your Les Paul Junior type idea where it doesn't have carved tops and stuff like that, but fantastic, a fantastic guitar. I've actually got a matching bass to this as well, which is nice. Lovely, beautiful guitar. Well, maybe not the most beautiful. It's kind of it's sort of like an SG. Originally, it had like Telecaster wirings, 2 single coils and a 3-way switch. So it's Telecaster wiring, a Strat scale, a Gibson headstock, and an SG sort of thing going on. And it's a bit of a mash of everything. But very impressive. And then I'm going to the last one. This video's turned out to be much shorter than the previous one, but hey, I think this might actually end up being a 3 t-shirt day. This one, I'm sweating like a madman as well. This is my Antotia Telecaster, which it needs a refret. It's really, really spanky. I kind of like it. It was really cheap when I got it as a sort of trade, and basically I just fell in love with the colour. I put these are Fender Duos. The original pickups were well gone, and there was already a hole where someone had tried to put a humbucker in it. So rather than I thought I'll just buy another scratch plate. Normal tele scratch plate doesn't fit it, does it? It's just a different shape. So I just patched it up. I stuck in a humbucker in the middle, and these are Mexican duosonic pickups. And it just more for look, and then the final bit was getting the white jazz bass knobs, really just to make it look good. Antotia. So this is possibly made by Fujigen, possibly made by Dyna. I don't really know. You can get this other brands on it. I've seen about 10 different brands with this on it. See, sometimes I feel the frets are really worn down, and sometimes they seem to be fine. The actions, I can maybe just have the action up a bit higher, probably. Just re-bend it. And this also sits in as this might be the oldest guitar I've got. Not the one I've had the longest, but the actual oldest being the early 70s. I do have a Gibson bass. It's from the 60s. I think that's about it. I've got a couple of I've got like a wee acoustic that's crap and a couple of broken guitars. But I think that my oldest working guitar is this. So maple neck. A very, very, very worn, partially refretted with jumbo frets and partially with original frets. Maple neck, but it's a cap as well. It's actually, this one you can see it there. This is actually a laminate as well. So this is like 3 or 4 bits of wood all stuck together, and then so that's kind of why this. If anything, this guitar, the neck on it is just no, it's not. See, it does have some relief in it. It's just I just want a wee bit more, and it's like because it's a laminate neck. It's like it's straight. It doesn't want to be anything other than straight. They designed it so that it would last. I mean, this is 40 or 50 years old, whatever it is. Also, I did some crazy wiring in it as well. Yeah, so in conclusion, with the does the maple neck cap thing, I can't tell it. I don't know whether you'll be able to tell it by the time it's been recorded and put on YouTube. Anyway, I'm not saying it's not. I just say, but I kind of feel the same way with the sort of tone wood thing. Does it make a difference? I don't know. Maybe it does. Maybe you can hear it. I don't have the best ears and the best ability to pick out frequencies and all this stuff. I just like what I like. So it could be. And if you can hear a difference, and if you guess them all right, I mean, I got them one of them wrong, and it's my guitar, the A5. So going all the way through it. Guitar number 1, Blazer 450, 1981, Japan, Dyna factory, one-piece maple. Vantage Avenger 1980, can't remember already. Avenger 3 AVT 325 it's called. Not sure of the factory. I think it was 82. Was it 82 or 83? The serial number starts with a number 2. So it's 82. That's a separate fingerboard. Westone Concord 1983, one-piece neck, Matsumoku. This in order of what I did them. The Force 3, the Force 4, the Force 2, Onslow's guitar, 1983, neck with a separate fingerboard neck. Next one, the Force 3 from 1982, one-piece maple neck. Next, that one, yeah, Firebird. It's an old Hondo neck, laminate separate fingerboards. Which I thought, I was pretty sure it was a one piece. It's not. It's a laminate. It's not a laminate. It's got the separate fingerboards. And then Squier Bullet, 1983, fujigen, one piece neck. Then Aria Thor Sound, 1982. I've forgotten the numbers of these already. What years these are from already. That's a laminate make with a separate fingerboard. And then this one, being the last one, again laminate neck with a separate fingerboard. I have actually seen, I can't remember who it is that's got it. There is, I think it's a Hondo where it's a laminate neck, but it doesn't have a separate fingerboard. So it's kind of like, you can actually see when you look down the middle of the fretboard, in fact it's made out of 3 bits of wood, which the laminate is, it's cheaper, I think, because you don't need to have as wide pieces of wood. You can use 3 together. But the other thing about that is though you can have the grains of each piece of wood going in opposite directions, so it's much less likely to twist and warped than one piece necks are. I have had problems before with one piece necks twisting. So I don't know. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed these 3 videos and whatever order it is I put them out on, and you win yourself a watch. Originally I went for 5 and 5, so it's 5 separate fingerboards and 5 one piece necks, but just until actually in this video when I actually had a look at the A5, so it's actually 6 of them are laminate and only 4 of them are one piece. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, only 4 of them are one piece, and the other 6 are laminate. But I mean, yeah. So I don't know. It's another argument. I do quite like these guitar arguments as long as everyone realises it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? It's like I love having an argument until it actually gets to the point where someone actually gets upset and actually really cares what the outcome is. It was the best Black Sabbath album. It's Sabotage. Oh, you think it's paranoid? Let's argue about it. That's fine. But ultimately, I don't care, and I hope nobody else cares either. It's like whether you like it or not is just the way it is. But I do prefer maple necks if I had the choice. But it kind of depends on which guitar it is, because you can't really have. Although I'm saying that my pal Jerry does have an SG with a maple neck, but you don't really get an SG or a Les Paul or a Gibson-y. You would tend to think it's more likely to be a rosewood and a Fender. You would tend to think it's more likely to be maple. Sort of. It kind of runs into the one of the Washburn Wing series I want is a. I've got all the whole cauldron. The cauldron being the collective term for birds of prey. We've got the whole cauldron of the early wings, the ones that are built by Yamaki. But later on, they down-spec'd them and started making them a lot cheaper. And they kept some of the model names, but the guitars are different. I've got a Hawk, which is like a flat top and it's got a Floyd Rose in it. But they also did one called a T-Bird Deluxe, which was like a bolt-on neck one, and it's got a maple neck. I kind of want that one. I'm not really that bothered about getting the T-Bird or all the other variations you can get, because that one's got a maple neck. It's like I do quite fancy trying to find one. I've never seen one in the UK. I don't think they did. I don't think the Washburn really sold guitars here at that era, the later half of the 80s. In the UK, I think they were really only American. Yeah, so to maple or not to maple, I don't know. As usual, I'd always do these things where it's like I was like, here's a question, what do you think of the answers? And at the end, the conclusion is always, it could be. There's something in it. There maybe is something in it. There maybe is nothing in it. I don't know. I would always say, it's the same as like, when you've got like a through neck. It doesn't make any difference. I'm not really sure, but I like the idea of it. It's like, is a set neck better than a bolt neck? Sort of. But you would always say, oh, I've got Les Paul, it's a set neck. As a selling feature. Because, and it's the same with the one-piece neck. You'd say, oh, it's a selling feature. In fact, it's one piece. One piece being a little bit more expensive, probably, maybe. I don't know. Rockin'. I'll see you on Sunday. If I put this out before this week's Sunday live stream, I'll see you next week's Sunday live stream. Love you all. Catch you later.